This is the latest from Zelos watches, the Swordfish. Well, I shouldn't say the latest because Zelos is just hitting it out of the park these days, and there are a lot of watches in the pipeline and new ones that are released and other ones that are shortly on the way. We'll say one of the newest. Your price on this is $649, and what does that get you? Well, first things first, an ETA 2892 with date. Now, if you do want a cheaper version, or I should say a less expensive version, it's the same watch, but it has an NH35 automatic movement. And the way you're going to tell the two apart is the ETA version has the date, and the NH35 is no date. Go ahead and give you the full specs: 42 millimeter case, 22 millimeter lug width, 48 millimeter lug to lug, and 13 millimeters thick. You have a water resistance of 300 meters. It is, of course, a sapphire crystal. 120 click ceramic insert, brushed and fully loomed. Stainless steel case, textured dial with C3 and BGW9 lume. As some of you know, Zelos likes to do the dual lume on their watches. And of course, it comes with a leather watch roll. It comes packed in the wood box that I've shown on video before. And it also comes with a leather strap. Though I gotta be honest, I don't know why you would want to take it off this bracelet. Trying to shine the light on here so you can really get a close-up look at that bracelet. So originally I wanted to call it like a flat oyster link, but it really isn't. It's its own thing. You have the rectangular links in the middle, they are all flat, and the square links on the outside are all flat as well. It's a really, really nice looking bracelet, and I know I've seen bracelets similar to this on some very high-end watches, but it's nice to see on a watch with a price of only $649, and not just another I grabbed a bracelet, stock bracelet out of the catalog and put it on the watch. It's nice to see that Zelos is always trying to step up the game. Now, I will say, though, while I do love the look of this bracelet, and I love how it wears on the wrist, of course, I will show you a wrist shot in this video. One thing that I noticed is that the edges of this bracelet are sharp. And now, again, when I use the word sharp, I'm not saying it's going to cut you, but you could feel the edges of the bracelet. And this is for the most part, and I won't say it like across the board, but for the most part, this is some of the difference that you get with a $649 watch versus, say, an $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, and on up the chain there. It's just something I noticed, and I wanted to point it out. Let's get up close here to that beautiful cobalt blue dial. Now, if blue isn't your thing, check out the Zelos website. Of course, I'll have a link below. And if you want to see more about this watch than what I cover here on the video, or more of my thoughts and comments, I have a link below to the full article on watchreport.com and a lot of high-res pictures as well. But back to this dial here. Beautiful cobalt sunray blue dial. And while I do actually prefer a no date, although not always, because I do like a day and date as long as it's positioned right, but the only date option, which is the ETA 2892 version here, is my favorite date placement for a single date, which is down at the 6 o'clock. Very, very clean dial. You have those markers that are embedded on top of that dial. You have that dual lume. It's only a 2-line dial. Those big hands, it's easy to read. Man, if you like dive watches, there is a lot to like about this particular one. Go ahead here and give you a look at the bezel. Bezel is nice and tight. It ratchets nicely. It's not the smoothest, but it is solid. And when I say solid, I mean at a certain point you could feel, it has the nice grips here to turn it. But this feels like a solid bezel. That's how nice and sturdy that bezel is. Crown action on this is very, very smooth, as you would expect, especially with this 2892 movement. Let's go ahead here and walk around the side of the case, if you will. You can see that signed screw-down crown, that very unique case shape, all that vertical brushing, integrated crown guards. You can see that nice profile of the bezel. Now, something that you are going to notice here is that the end links for the bracelet do jet out. Now, you can see it drops straight down for the bracelet, but just so you know how this is going to wear on your wrist. Let's go ahead and give you a look at that swordfish case back. Where'd it go? Here is a look on my 7.5-inch wrist. Now, I don't have this sized, so I could show you that this is easily going to fit up to an 8.5-inch wrist unsized, and if you pull out that dive extension, probably a 9-inch wrist. Sometimes no words are needed. I think it just comes down to the value that you are getting here. And maybe you don't agree with it that it's a value. I think it's a value for what you are getting here. Not to want to repeat myself a million times. I've said it over and over and over that I absolutely love what Zelos Watches is doing in the microbrand world. You know, years ago, you would have never thought you would have got a watch like this for this price, especially from a microbrand. And now these days, it definitely is more the norm. And Elshan is definitely at the top of the list. He's sitting up there, with the likes of Raven and Helios, and maybe even above, because of what he sells these watches at, and what you're getting for the price. This has a great movement, a great bracelet, a beautiful looking dial and case. It wears really nice on the wrist at that 42 millimeter size. Amazing lume, as I showed you already. Price tag of $649. Now, it may sound like I'm trying to sell you this watch, but if you're familiar with this channel, you know I'm not. I tell the truth. When I feel the watch is, well, dog crap, I say it. And when I really like the watch, it's going to come across. I can't help it. That's the whole point of this review. Now, again, you might not love this watch, or you might not think it's that great. And hey, we're all going to have different opinions. I hope I've showed you and given you the best look at this watch possible. And as I said, if you want to see more, go ahead and click the link in the description, take you over to watchreport.com. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet and you stumbled upon us, please go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell twice. That way you will never miss any of our content. If you want to follow us on social media and keep up to date with what we got going on and what we have in for review, it is at Watch Report. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This has been a look at the Zelos Swordfish, the ETA version. This has been Don Evans for WatchReport.com. Talk to you on the next one.